this impersonal conception, like an impression within us. The only way to break the selfish impersonalism is to have affection for that supreme object. There is no other way. This is why devotional service is so unique and special. There are three paths in life that everybody follows. The path of material enjoyment, called bhukti, the path of liberation, called mukti, and the path of devotion, called bhakti. This path of devotion is very rare because it means there's nothing in it for you. You're not approaching it from a selfish point of view. We are initially, of course, because we're conditioned by that impersonal conception. But as we understand it more deeply, that selfish desire for me to enjoy starts to be purified. And I start to see how can I selflessly facilitate the Supreme Lord's enjoyment more. This is actually what it's about. And therefore, Prabhu, we need to hear about the sweetness of Krishna's pastimes. We must hear about the Rasa Leela. There's a verse at the very end of the 5 chapters of the Panchadiya section in Srimad Bhagavatam, which describe the Rasa Leela. Sukadeva Goswami, he says, Vikridi tam brajavadubi icham cha Vishnu, Shradan nushunyad artha varenyadya, Bhaktim param bhagavati prati labhya karmam, hridroga masav apinoti acharena dira. This is actually the answer to your question. How to purify the heart of this lustful disease. This lustful disease for my own enjoyment. I can enjoy grossly, as I've described, through bhukti, through material pleasure, or I can enjoy subtly through liberation. But this path of bhakti is purifying that lust by hearing and serving of the sweetness of the Lord's pastimes. There's a very beautiful story of Bharat Maharaj. When his brother Lord Ram was banished to the forest, he was heartbroken to such a degree where he walked with all of the residents of Ayodhya to Panchavali, the forest where Ram was. And there was a great assembly there. And Sita's father, Janak Maharaj, was the president of that assembly. And Janak Maharaj said to Bharat, all right, you can proclaim your love for Ram. He wanted to bring Ram back to Ayodhya. And the way he described his love for Ram made the leaves on the trees fall to the ground. Everyone was weeping to hear Bharat Maharaj's love for Ram. And at the end of his discourse, then Janak Maharaj said, you have won the hearts of all. Obviously, Ram must listen to this heartfelt cry for you to come back to Ayodhya. And everyone cheered. And then Janak Maharaj, he said, but one thing, have you considered for a moment, what does your darling brother Ram want to do? Does he want to come back? Are you thinking about him, or are you thinking about what you want him to do? So this is the difference between this impersonal path and the path of devotion. The path of devotion means I'm thinking, what does Krishna want? This is real love, not what you think he wants or what you would like him to want, but what actually does he want? He actually wants to be with Radha all the time. He wants that more than he wants the Vatsalya or parental relationship with Yashoda and Nanda Baba. He wants it more than he wants the relationship with his cowherd boyfriends in Sakyabab. He wants more than that. He wants this conjugal relationship. That's what he wants. So the answer to your question is to constantly be hearing about and talking about the sweetest pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan with his most intimate associates, the gopis. That is the only medicine that will cure us of this impersonalism, nothing else. And the power is given to us by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to remember these pastimes through chanting Krishna's names. Krishna has 16 holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And they are in 8 couplets. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. These 8 couplets parallel the 8 pastimes of Krishna's day, the Astakalya Leela. If we think about these 8 different pastimes, Nishanta Leela, when Krishna's just embracing Radha to such a degree, there's no way he wants to break that and go home to his house. Then there's Pratal Leela, when he comes back in the early morning pastimes, he goes and milks the cows with his father and the cowherd boys, and then he has a wonderful breakfast. And then there's the Purvana Leela, where he goes from about 10:30 to 11:30, where he goes with all his cowherd boyfriends to the forest. Then there's a Madhyana Leela, where he's in the forest just with Radha and the gopis. This Madhyana Leela, for example, is 3 times longer than the other Leelas, because this is what Krishna actually wants to do. Then there's the Apurnana Leela, or Apurvarna Leela, the afternoon pastimes when he gathers the cows and comes back to the village of Vrindavan. Then there's the Shyam Leela in the evening when he comes back into the village. And they have so much nice prashadam is cooked there, and so many pastimes take place. They all go to a wonderful concert hall, all the Brijvasis, they all gather together every evening. And they discuss Ram Leela, they discuss Krishna Leela. They don't have television in those days, of course, so they all come together and sing and dance like that in the evening. And that is like overlaps into the Pradosh Leela, which is the 7th pastime space of the day. Then there's the Ratri, the nighttime from 12 o'clock midnight through to Nishant Leela. So these 8 pastimes of the day we can examine. So at any time of the day we can think, what is Krishna doing now? And how can I serve that Krishna now? What can I do to develop my relationship with that person? But it's not about me, it's about him. This is the point, this is the heart of it. It's very hard for us to break this selfish desire for my enjoyment. And the only way it can be done is by taking the medicine, by drinking the medicine that Mahaprabhu himself gave to us, this chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. We must chant tirelessly, ceaselessly, to understand this. Without this chanting, we will never understand this. This chanting is like putting petrol into the tank. Once we have the petrol in the tank, then we have to know where to go with that power. But basically this chanting will give us the power to understand these topics. If I have a desire to understand these topics, I must chant. And it is Guru who will stabilize me, so to speak. Guru will make that connection. He will give me the Mahamantra and he will show me the path all the way through. He will never do it for me. He will only guide me. We can't be like little babies thinking that Guru will do that. It's like when a child learns to walk. The parents make all kinds of support systems for the child. The child has to do the walking itself. The parents, even though they love the child so much, they can't walk for the child. So we have to walk in that light ourselves. We must not be dysfunctional, people in the world. We must understand responsibly. It's no one else's fault except mine that I am in this suffering condition. And it's no one else's ultimate responsibility except mine that will bring me out of this. I have to take full responsibility for my actions. So these are some thoughts about this ferocious impersonal path that is embraced in every other religion on the planet. There are many spiritual groups chanting Hare Krishna even, but they want something for their own pleasure. And they will become disturbed with the devotional conception that we are not the supreme enjoyers. Bhaktaram Yagyatapasham Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. He is that one. How can I just simply have to desire to understand this conception? Then Guru And the Hare Krishna mantra and the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will make that a reality for me. That is the truth. That is the absolute truth. And all these other religions and philosophies, they all are trying, according to their level, according to their eligibility, according to the time in which they're born, according to the culture in which they are living. They will have certain spiritual influences. But if that individual is actually sincere, he will inquire more about these topics, because there is no other body of religion or writings in existence that describes this apparent immoral relationship between God and His supreme energy of divine love.
Hare